What is up? What is up? Well, back again for a little in the office little episode. Just forgot to hang out with you guys. Check this thing out. We'll talk about that just in a minute. Pretty cool, huh? That is a Bassmasters Eastern Division trophy from 1998, and that's what we're going to do today. You know, we're all cooped up in the house and going a little stir crazy, and I thought, I was looking at the trophies on the wall, and I was thinking it'd be really cool to go through some of the tournament wins. And this one here is my very first Bassmasters tournament that I fished in 1998. 1998. That's crazy, huh? Right here on the lake. My dad fished it as well. He did pretty good. I finished 7th place. We'll talk all about that. I was looking at these trophies going, I remember this and I remember that about those events and the decisions that I made and just some little moments. It's funny how over all these years, I still remember like the moves that I made that day. I still remember the 4-pounder I caught on a 10-inch worm. It's crazy, you know, it's crazy that many years ago. So first of all, hopefully you guys are all staying safe out there. This is getting kind of crazy with the Corona stuff. I've been very fortunate to get out a few times to go fishing. We've done some saltwater trips. We've done some bass fishing stuff, but we haven't done a ton. We are being more careful every day because the virus stuff is just kind of getting worse. It really is. So we're to the point now where we're just really, really being careful, washing our hands, and hopefully you guys are all staying safe because this is real. I'm really worried about the fishing industry, to be honest with you. Maybe that's a whole nother episode. I mean, I haven't talked to anybody in the industry, but I just know with everything shut down, financially, this could be tough. This could be tough for the sport. So I'm hoping this will all figure itself out pretty soon. I'm hoping they'll come up with a vaccine and get all this under control. We can all get back to life as usual and get back to fishing and get back to our jobs and making some money. So that being said, I wanted to break down my very first Bassmasters tournament, my very first trophy that I ever got, and talk about it. I think that's cool. And I'll do some other ones too. I looked on my trophy shelf, and there is a Potomac River tournament from back in 2002, Bassmasters as well. We might even dive into a couple of the FLW tournament trophies in some of the following videos. So you guys let me know. Let me know if there's one that stuck out in your head, a victory that I had over my career. Drop a comment below, let me know what it is, and if you would like me, the one that gets the most likes as far as a tournament win or something that I did really good in, I'll talk about it. So that's, you know, appreciate all the support. We're almost to 500,000 guys, so thank you very much for all the support, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel quite yet, be sure to do that. Also turn the notification bell on, and appreciate all the support. All right, before we get too far into this video, Favorite Rods is hooking you guys up. This is pretty cool. They are gonna be giving away a rod just like this Rod and Reel combo. This is the old Salty series from Favorite. It's their saltwater version. Use it for snook, redfish, even grouper, 5,000 reel. Of course, this is one that I've been using, has line on it. Yours is gonna come brand new, no fishing line, of course, but they're gonna be giving this away. Very simple way to win this. So they have hooked you up with a discount code, SM20. So when you go to favoriterodsusa.com, order anything on the site, you're going to save 20% by using SM20, which is great. So you can stock up either on saltwater stuff or all the bass fishing stuff like you see us use. So that's a really great thing. The other thing is be sure to follow the Scott Martin Challenge. Also follow Favorite Rods and also follow the Favorite Army, okay? We're going to drop the links in the description down below. Be sure to follow those accounts. And again, no purchase is necessary from what they tell me. So as long as you go and like all 3 of those Instagram pages, I think you're entered to win as well. So that being said, you get 20% off on all the stuff. So there is a little gift to you because I know you're sitting at home going crazy. So if you need to stock up on any rods and reels or get your stuff in order, 20% off SM20. All right, enough of that. Let's jump into this story right here. My very first Bassmasters trophy. You know, when I think back at this event, this is what's neat about this tournament. This trophy right here started my career. This trophy right here maybe made it possible for me to be sitting here in front of you, because if I wouldn't have won this trophy in 7th place, which was pretty good, and I'd have got killed, maybe like double zeroed, maybe I would have said, man, this isn't going to work out so well. Maybe it would have messed up my confidence that year and messed me up and threw me for a loop. But this trophy right here gave me the confidence to say to myself, I can compete on the trail, okay? So that was cool. This was a cool event. This was my very first one. My dad fished in the tournament as well. I think he finished 5th or 6th, but we didn't fish the same areas or anything. I did my thing, he did his thing. And I remember I remember being nervous about this tournament, obviously, because it was my very first one. I think everybody remembers their very first tournament, right? You're nervous. I don't think I slept that night. I think I literally sat out in the garage, like organizing my tackle and getting everything in place and making sure everything was set up and ready to go. Probably 10 different times. I mean, honestly, I don't think I slept. And but practice was neat. One of the things I remember about this tournament that was so cool, and again, when you look at tournaments, anytime I've ever won a tournament or done well, I can always, after it's all said and done, pinpoint some moment throughout practice or the tournament that was what I call the defining moment, that little thing that made a huge difference in the results of the tournament. And the one thing that happened in that event that was the turning point was I was fishing in practice. I think this was on the first day of practice. At about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I was going on the outside of King's Bar. There was a bunch of reed heads along the outside edge. For you guys that have fished Lake Okeechobee, King's Bar has all the round reeds all the way around it. And it was about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It was dead slick calm. And I was going and I was throwing, I was flipping and throwing a worm and just kind of fishing along through there. Haven't caught a fish. My dad pulls up and he starts going down through there within sight of me, probably 50 yards away. This is in practice again. And he's not catching much. I'm not catching much. And I tell him, I said, look, I got to go. And I'll see you later on. I'll see you back at the house. I got to run all the way back down the lake, and I got to do a few things. So I leave. Well, later on that night, I talked to him, and I said, did you catch any more fish? And he said, man, right when you took off, right where you took off, literally when the waves, all that washed up into the reeds, he said, I saw a shad jump out of the water, and a big fish blew up on it, and I caught one about 4 pounds right there where you took off from. And then a couple more busted right in there. And he goes, so that was kind of crazy. And I'm thinking, wow, that's okay, that's cool. Like, you know, maybe it was just a random fish. So I didn't think much of it. He didn't think much of it. But I remember him telling me that, of course. So the first day the tournament rolls around, I run over to J&S, which is on the east side of the lake, and I'm throwing, back then, you know, we fished so different than the way we fish nowadays. Back then in 1998, we didn't even have power poles. I mean, no power poles. I literally had an anchor in the boat, like anchor and a rope, and if I wanted to stop in the grass, I'd throw an anchor out. And at times I would carry a push pole around. We'd stuff a push pole down in the dirt. But over on the east side of the lake at J&S, the bottoms were hard. You can't stick a push pole down there because it's just hard sand and even some rock. So you had to use like an old school anchor, which is kind of crazy. But I remember going around out in the eelgrass. There was a bunch of eelgrass out there. And back then, which again is crazy, I don't remember fishing this way in years. And that being said, it probably still works great, but we've kind of all, as fishermen, evolved in different techniques and different ways of fishing. I was old school worm fishing, taking a 10-inch worm, a 1/4 ounce weight, a 4/0 hook, 15-pound not even fluorocarbon back then, monofilament, 15-pound like big game. I mean, I think that's what I was fishing back then, that real stretchy stuff. And I just take that 10-inch worm and just bomb it out there in the eelgrass. It was just big eelgrass flats. And you would just drag that thing along, just inch it along real slow along the bottom and let it sit. Drag it, let it sit. And what you were doing, you were covering water with that worm, trying to, as it drug into maybe an open spot in the grass, there might be a fish laying there on a bed, fish would bite it. And it was a real slow way of fishing, but you would just drag that worm, let it sit, drag that worm, let it sit. And back then, it wasn't like you were catching 50 fish, you know. Even back then on Okeechobee, a 20-pound bag was a big deal. And I remember catching about 13 or 14 pounds out of the eelgrass that first day. And it was 1 o'clock, and I wasn't getting any bites. And this is that moment I'm talking about. I have to, when I left J&S, if you're familiar with the lake, when you leave J&S, you got to kind of drive by King's Bar to get back to the Kissimmee River, because the tournament was actually going out of Okeechobee City, not out of Clewiston. And so I thought to myself, you know, the last day of practice, it was actually the last day of practice when that happened, with me getting on plane and the fish busting. It was about this time. And I'm thinking, you know, let me roll over there. My dad said he caught a 4-pounder. If I caught a 4-pounder right now, I'm going to end up with like 15 pounds, got a couple small ones. That could be a big deal. So I tell my partner, I said, let's go. I'm going to make a little run. I run over there, and I look at my GPS. I look at my trail, as my trail's going through the cattails on the outside. It's a straight trail on my GPS, and I can see where I looped around. That's where I got on plane. And my dad told me it was right when you got on plane. So I knew that if I went right to that GPS turn, right, that it would have to be, that possible school of fish would have to be somewhere within a cast or so of that little mark in my GPS. So I rolled over there. It was like 1:30. I had to be in at like 3. I come off plane. The waves even, you know, washed up in there a little bit. And just like that, I see a shad go, choo, 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 doosh. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I pick up a topwater and I throw it over there. It's a devil's horse. Twitch, twitch. I mean, kaboom! I'm talking giant one, like 4.5, 5 pounder. Fighting him in. I get him in the boat. I call out like a 1.5 pounder. I'm like, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm thinking like maybe it's 1 or 2 fish. I throw in there again. Kaboom! Another 3 pounder. Kaboom! Like this goes on, guys, for like 30 minutes straight. I mean, it's literally every cast. And I would make a few casts every once in a while, 10 or 15 feet to the right or to the left. Never get a bite. My partner is standing there in the back of the boat, throwing in other places, really close, not one bite. Like it's literally, and look, there's reeds here, there's little patches of reeds everywhere. We're in 3 foot of water. This isn't like a Kentucky Lake ledge. We're out in 20 foot of water. We're in 3 foot of water, clear, and one cast to this corner of these cattails, reeds, would produce a bite. Anywhere else, nothing. So I literally finished the day out. I call up, and I can't remember the exact weight, but I call up to probably 18 or 19 pounds, which was really, really good. And I'm way up in the top. I'm not leading, but I'm way up in the top. And I get back and I tell my dad, I said, you won't believe it. I stopped over there. I made a couple, you know, I sit there 30 minutes. I probably caught 20 fish. Crazy deal. So the next morning I take off and I run straight there. I'm thinking I got to go straight to that spot where I finished up on. And I come off plane. I put the trolling motor down and I pick up my top water and I throw it over there. Nothing. I throw it over there. Nothing. I throw it over here. Nothing, 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 nothing. Throw a worm. Nothing, nothing, nothing anywhere. I'm thinking, well, man, I must have caught them all. They must have caught them all, or they're just not feeding in here at this time of day. I don't know why. I mean, it's perfect, like beautiful morning, but they must not be in here. So I'm thinking, well, heck with it. I got to go. So I run back over to J&S and I'm throwing the worms in the grass again. I catch a couple nice fish and I've got about what I had the first day, 12 or 13 pounds again. And again, it's about 1:30 in the afternoon and I say to myself, I've got nothing to lose. Let me run back over there. It's only maybe a 10-mile run. Let me run back over there and see. And I run in there, same spot, come off plane, put the trolling motor down, stand up. Nothing's busted on this time. No shad jumping. I'm thinking, yeah, they're probably not here. They're probably not here. I throw the top water. The first time I twitch it, it's like dynamite goes off. Kaboom! Again, another 4-pounder. I land him. I call out a small one. I throw in there again. Boom, 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 boom. I'm yelling at my partner. Throw in there, dude. Throw in there. Boom, boom, boom. We're catching them. He's catching them. We're all catching. I mean, it's just chaos. We catch 25 more bass off this, a literal spot the size of this table. I have no idea. You guys, you got to understand. We're at Lake Okeechobee. It's sand bottom. There's no ledge. There's no rock pile. There's no spring. There's nothing. Why wouldn't they bite here? Why wouldn't they bite there? And why wouldn't they bite in the morning? I don't know. But it was one of these crazy, crazy places. So finish out the day again with another 17, 18 pounds, whatever it is, moving up again. Go out on day 3. And I finished the day off catching them every single cast. Go out, kind of do the same thing, go back in the eelgrass. I moved around a little bit. I remember that day particularly, the wind was blowing a little bit, and I remember actually using the anchor a lot, like a power pole, laying the anchor out in front of the boat, letting it set up, standing there and casting a worm back in the eelgrass and just worming it through there. Again, so old school, kind of crazy. I ought to try it again, not literally with the anchor and a rope, still power pole at this point, but I should start fishing that way a little bit more. I think it's kind of a thing that we haven't done in many, many years. Matter of fact, I caught a lot of fish on Okeechobee in a EverStart tournament years ago. Maybe we'll talk about that one coming up. And I did catch them that way on a worm. And I had so much fun because I was like, this feels like old school. But anyways, last day of the tournament, I run back over there, boom, 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 catch a few nice fish, and I finished the day off on that spot. This is what was so cool. They wouldn't bite the top water anymore. They were done. Like, they wouldn't even look at it. we picked up a spinnerbait. Actually, my partner picked up a spinnerbait and threw it through there and reeled the spinnerbait through the reeds. I could remember that spinnerbait bouncing through the reeds. Doo, 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 doo. And a big swirl, just a swirl, and he loaded up. And again, that monofilament line, you know, you're fighting them all around. He gets like a 5-pounder. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm digging in my tackle box. I finally get a spinnerbait tied on. I tie it on, I throw it up in there. Boom, boom, boom. Like, again, for another 30 or 45 minutes, I called my way up to 15 or 16 pounds again, or 17, whatever it was, and did really, really good in the tournament. Pulled in and ended up finishing the tournament in 7th place. And this was in 1998, December 1998, Okeechobee City, my very first Bassmasters tournament. So that was, again, like, this was possibly the moment where I said to myself, I'm going to do this, right? You know, could have ended up a lot of other ways. So it was such a blessing to be able to go out on my home lake and do really well. But again, it's those little things, right? It's those little things. My game plan was solid. My game plan would have got me a check, right? My game plan, 13 pounds a day, I would have finished good. But the little thing, that little thing that I did, made all the difference in the world of me standing here with this trophy. So keep that in mind, guys. When you're out fishing, pay attention to those little details. Pay attention to those little things that happen throughout practice and even the tournament. And always be hungry. Always try to make those little adjustments and try to always think about things. Don't be so set in your ways where you put your blinders on and you just sit there and say, this is how I found them in practice, and this is what I did in practice, and this is just what I'm going to go do in the tournament. Be flexible. That's why you see a lot of rods on the deck of my boat when I'm in any tournament. I have options because if I need to start drop shotting at any moment, I'm ready to go. If I need to throw a hair jig, I'm ready to go. If I need to pull out a 2-ounce tungsten and go flip grass, I'm ready to go. And people ask me all the time, what's your favorite technique? And I say to them, I don't have one. My favorite technique is whatever I figure out they're biting that day. I have just as much fun catching them on a drop shot as I do a crankbait or a topwater. Topwater's kind of special. You'd have to agree. But anyways, that is my story. That's my very first Bassmasters. And now, guys, 20-something years later, 22 years later, full circle, I'm back fishing the Bassmaster Opens, okay? It's the road to the Classic. It's the road to the elites. We've already had one tournament, and with the cancellation of the one that's starting next week, that's going to set us back a little bit. Not canceled, it's actually postponed, so we are going to make that tournament up. And then I'm hoping we can fish in May. I'm hoping this will all blow over in May so we can get out there and get some content for you guys. But right now, everyone in the whole industry is in kind of a holding pattern. So I figured I'd bring these little tournament stories to you. If you liked it, let me know. Tell me what you thought of the video. Please drop a like. And again, drop a comment below and let me know of a tournament. If any of y'all have a tournament in mind that I did really good in or maybe won, let me know, and I'll eventually do a video on that one as well. But the next one I'm going to do, there's a couple more Bassmasters trophies up on my shelf over there I see from here, and some pretty cool stories. One on the Potomac River, which was crazy. Again, those little things make a huge difference. So, guys, I hope y'all are staying safe. If you get a chance, some states, some counties, they want you staying inside your home. Social distancing is a serious thing. But if you are in a community or in a state that allows you to kind of get around a little bit but be unsafe, get out and go fishing, you know? Just don't shake any hands, don't cough on anybody, just keep your distance from everybody. But go out. Hey, I do know one thing. The bass don't have corona. I do know that. The bass are corona free. So go out and catch a fish if you're able to get out of the house and enjoy it, guys. Stay safe. Hopefully we'll see you soon. We'll see you. Bam!